we're going to look today at more OMAD meals. Most of these, you will notice, are low oxalate meals. If you care to notice, you will notice various aspects of these. First of all, this is one of my favorites, and meatballs, just plain meatballs that come frozen and packaged. Rice with Prego spaghetti sauce added to taste. When I grew up, there was a thing called porcupine meatballs. And porcupine meatballs were oh so tasty. Throw some cheese on top, and you've got a marvelous dinner. Black-eyed peas, and that is what you're seeing in that doesn't look very attractive in the black-eyed peas, is mock meat. It's the last mock meat I will ever eat. I had some frozen that I was cleaning out the fridge, and I wanted to get rid of this. This is also the last day for the black-eyed peas. Egg noodle pasta with another meatball or meatballs in there. And the berries are goji, raisins, and cranberries. This is one of the best meals I had all week. So let's see. Okay, we're ready to move ahead. And here we are finishing off. This is the official last of the soy-based mock meats, and there will be no more after this. I made a huge kettle of black-eyed peas, threw in some Fritos, dropped some nutritional yeast on the top, and more of the same berries as I just mentioned. This is very good stuff, although there will be no more mock meats for me. Church's chicken fried steak. If you didn't know that it's a thing, you can get it on their value menu. And really, it's not a bad deal. Little Diet Dr. Pepper there. Mashed potatoes with both types of gravy. And you can get it to go when you're in the mood for something like Church's. And it's not often that I am there. Frequent eating out is something that I do treat myself to, but it is, of course, a thing that is ultimately not as desirable as eating at home. But what you're seeing here, folks, is that the desire to really not be picky on food is always going to be a thing to remember. Let's move next to a local shrimp house that is near me. This is one of the things that I had, and it was really, really good. This is actually a place called Bourbon Kitchen, and it is great. I had dirty rice with shrimp pasta. It's on the spicy side, as most of what they do is. This was my mother's birthday, and we had a good time. All right. This is just homemade Chinese meat rice. Those are pork. That's pork. I just bought some pork. I fried it up and then put it in some P.F. Chang's packaged fried rice, again with goji berries, raisins, and dried raspberries. It's a great Chinese meal. If you throw in some orange sauce, like you see I have on the side, it's not a bad way to enjoy yourself and have Chinese food that isn't so expensive. And one of my favorite meals of all time, sardines on top of green beans. For those of you who are not enjoying my rice-heavy dinners, you can swap the rice for some canned green beans. Just rinse them, and you can throw nice oily sardines on top. If, again, assuming you like sardines, they're one of the healthiest foods on the planet. And you've got a low-carb dinner that is just delightful. And ditto on the goji berries, raisins, and dried raspberries, or dried cranberries, rather. I believe they're both cranberries and raspberries. You can get them at Whole Foods. Deer sausage chunks with shiitake mushrooms cooked into green beans. Pretty simple, right? Let's move along. And here we go, a small protein-heavy dinner. These are 2 small plates, and this was a light OMAD day. You're noticing, some of you, that my meals vary. And the reason for that is that you will always do better if you can be immaterial about how much you're going to eat or the type of food. And as I have emphasized that food is not a magic thing, one of the best ways to have a productive day and to eat little and to feel full is to have a high protein meal like this. High fat, high protein. It's the way to go on certain days. And here we are back into starch territory. Chopped apples, raisins, blueberries, green grapes, seedless, and dirty rice. Actually, that's Spanish rice. And there's nothing in there but rice that I made at home with mushrooms and the tabletop McCormick Spanish rice seasoning. You put 3 tablespoons in a cup of rice, and I think I also put in a small portion of a can of tomato sauce, and that's pretty much it. Spanish rice is easy to make. Now this sort of meal, a lot of people likes to stay away from because it can get more of kind of an insulin reaction. But if you're really dedicated to your OMAD journey, how full you feel is not going to be an item. You're not going to go around and say, well, I just don't feel full. Instead, you're going to eat a meal one day like this. And I can remember this day when I ate this at work. You can see my laptop in the background and the keyboard plugged in and my mouse. I remember thinking, yeah, this is going to leave me kind of hungry later because of there being no flesh food here. But you know what? It doesn't matter. If you're really serious about your OMAD, you're not going to judge on how hungry you are later because you're going to keep going. Let's jump ahead. We're going to wrap up here. And one of the best meals all month, a Kroger rotisserie chicken with mandarin orange juice as the beverage. And guess what it has in there? Just orange juice. And back in the day, I would do 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. I didn't on this occasion. I forget why. But a lot of people don't realize you can go and have an entire meal of rotisserie chicken and feel like a god and rock the rest of your day. You hear a lot about chicken these days. It's kind of taken a negative rap. You hear about people talking about how chicken is a more insulinogenic meat, which is true. But it will still offer the best benefits in terms of digestion, and it will allow you to be very functional quickly. You'll go through the day and you'll have good protein, muscle-sustaining protein, and you'll feel like you've eaten for a long time without any negative consequences. And, okay, we're going to finish off here. Okay, back to protein. Actually, I think I have bits of pork here, fried from the other meal I had when I showed you the Chinese thing. I just fried up a whole good-sized $20 tray of pork loin, chopped it up, put it in there with eggs and bacon. And, of course, that's the fattiest cut bacon I could find. So I had myself a good time. What are the lessons here? Don't be picky with your food. Eat foods that you enjoy. Eat foods that are generally low oxalate or less aggravative to you. The foods that you're seeing here are the foods that I enjoy. That's the way it is. Can you say the same in your food choices? Do you enjoy them? Don't be afraid to lean heavy on the fats, on the proteins. Also, don't be afraid to go a few days and just get the starchaholic foods that you desire. Don't get rid of fruits and starches either. Don't get rid of stuff like green beans, which green beans aren't a low oxalate food. They're actually a very good choice when you want to replace something like rice. Rice to cauliflower is another choice if you don't want to do rice and you want to do something that is agreeable to you. Find foods you like and stick with it. All right, talk to you later.